We're a 24/7 television network.
We have to start developing relationships.
We're looking for good stories.
You have to overcome all the prejudice that exists there.
I wanted to ask you, if a person brought you 20 minutes of a feature film that he was developing, what would you do? Would you take a look at it, and would that be something that you could possibly weigh as a possibility of lending money?
Sure.
Against, if he actually has the footage to say, hey, I'm going to develop the rest and currently shooting the rest of it, does that give that person a better advantage right there?
Sure. Break to my Swahili. Ore ma jaja oh, ore ma jaja. No. Was my time on Swahili. The answer would be that we should introduce you to folks that will be interested in the film in your genre, to distributors that may be interested to film in your genre. Again, that goes back to the first question, because the banker, at the end of the day, in our most anal kind of way, we're going to always come back to, we either want to help you get the pre-sales, or we're first going to ask you if you have any pre-sales. If you don't have any pre-sales, get you some. But what you're talking about is something that's going to probably need some development money. And that goes back to what I said in the very first instance. There's a difference in film between debt and equity. So when you're going to a bank, everyone remember, that's debt. The bank is playing with your ATM money, and it's money that we're going to bet on the financial capability of that distributor. When you're looking for someone like you're talking about that's potentially development money, someone that may jump in and enjoy all the profits, because again, once the distributor pays me, the bank is gone, I'm out of there. And my fees are very, I mean, we might get 1% on a deal, 75 basis points, so 0.75%. I might get my cost of funds plus 1 or 2% back. So I'm not making a lot of money. Corporate finance, low risk, low return, that's where the bank should be. But what you're discussing is showing something that someone's put some money into that needs some more money for development. So you're probably looking for an equity partner out there. And again, you know, the equity money is most elusive. From our side as filmmakers of color, when that pot of equity money shows up, which increasingly we're starting to see pockets of equity money, real equity money show up out there. So I am cautiously optimistic for filmmakers. I've always felt bad as a banker because I always had to go back to where's that distributor, where's that pre-sale. I wish I did have the ability to say, yeah, I do have this pot of money to play with you. But we are seeing slowly but surely in the evolution of filmmaking that pots of equity money, that's your Uncle Joe, your cousin, the large, like Phil Antris from Antris Entertainment, that makes Around the World in 80 days, but there's smaller versions of that, there's quiet people in our community, but we're also starting to see some more formal institutional pockets of equity money for black and minority films show up out there. Historically, and Elizabeth has been tracking this stuff for, you know, she's only 16 years old, but she's been tracking it for over 20 years. But we can tell you that these names are just now starting to show up on the map. And as filmmakers, you all are pioneers in terms of the financing of black films. So don't get discouraged, because the film industry has to develop, and we are still in the developing stages, and especially as it relates to bringing equity money, which is the most at-risk money, the most critical money. That money is just now starting to show up. But that, we would try to make an introduction to someone that would provide an equity investment in your film.
Like if you come to a bank as a filmmaker, again, in terms of building that relationship and say, I'm about to do this project and I want to find out realistically what this can make. Was the bank willing at that moment to say, okay, well, here's what we're looking at. You have a film of this genre. You're looking to do it here and overseas. These are the kind of numbers we would expect you to make. Are banks willing to help filmmakers at that stage of the development with that kind of analysis?
Yes. A good film banker should absolutely be willing to sit down with you as you tell them what your estimates are of cost, how much you think you can sell this territory for, that territory for. We should be sharing that data with you because it's a competitive market out there for us as bankers. And so, what's my value added versus you going to City National, you going to Comerica? Hopefully, we're friends, we're nice folks, but I've given you some introductions, I've given you some data that helps you build your infrastructure, helps you build your model. For example, is a $100,000 film, okay? You're talking about a $100,000 film, then you have, let's call it $100,000 of production value. Again, I'm challenging you all as a filmmaker to put your financial, economic hat on, because if you have $100,000 of value in the film, your next task is to take that and, from our side, pre-sell those rights away. So you have $100,000. So it might work because you may go to somebody and say, hey, I'll sell you my DVD rights for $20,000. I'll sell you my pay-per-view rights for $20,000. I'll sell you and you can keep domestic theatrical if anything ever comes out of this for $20,000. That's $60,000. You may get yourself, who's the producer, to defer your $20,000 producer fee, so that's $80,000. And let's say you go to Louisiana and you make the film in Louisiana, and Louisiana gives you a $20,000 fee for filming it or services fee for filming it there. So now we've got your $100,000. Your budget has been filled out, you've done it creatively. What you're going to, at that point in time, do is take those two $20,000 sales you have for domestic theatrical and pay-per-view and bring those back to a bank. And the bank is going to look and say, what entity is out there buying these for $20,000? At that point in time, it may very well be that it's a bankable, we call it bankable company. It's a company that we can understand that's going to be there to be able to pay you upon delivery of the film. It might be one that is, again, it's a fly-by-night charlatan to run around telling you they're going to buy your film for $20,000. You go try to look at the financing. See, oftentimes, a bank is a filmmaker's best friend because we're on your side. We want to make sure that the money's there, just like you want to make sure the money's there, okay? There's folks out there oftentimes they're going to say they're going to throw you the money. So between a bank and a bond company, a bond company is critical for what you all do. And the 30-second diversion is the bond company jumps in. It's an insurance policy that's paid by you all, the filmmaker, for 1%, 2%, 3% of your budget that says if that film doesn't get made, then whoever's put money in that film, either that bond company is going to put enough money in to complete that film, or that bond company is going to pay you back the money that you spent, or in any instance, there's going to be no production risk from your side. So why did I say that? Because a bond company is also going to be saying, all right, you have someone, your Uncle Charlie's going to put $20,000 in. Before a bond company bonds it, they're going to make darn sure that Uncle Charlie's got that money to put it in.
Right, yeah.
Because the bond company is on the hook for making sure that $100,000 goes in there, and they're saying that that's one of the funding sources. They're going to ensure that. So a long way of saying is that yes, you can fractionalize it. Banks will look at deals at that level. But it goes back to what entities are you going to sell those to, and from my side, my analysis is going to be what's the financial capability. What the internet does for you filmmakers is, I think it provides reach, it provides a unique platform, it provides a really groovy space, a platform for you all to launch and market your films. There have been some wonderful launchings that have happened on the internet. So the internet is not necessarily that you say, hey, I have someone who's going to buy the internet rights, because people aren't going to really buy internet rights per se, but the internet is, I think, for filmmakers is a wonderful marketing tool.